So the Italians are coming. Say hello. We're leaving Toronto. They've all come to hug and kiss us and use lots of hand motions. Is that right? There we go. Say hello to the world.
Hello world. Hello Australia.
Yes. Damien's have his coffee. I didn't do a review because we know it's good. So today we're going to Port Dover. It's 2 hours away, and I think it's a bit of highway, a little bit of a mountain or a hill, and we'll have lunch at Port Dover. We've got to fight our way through the crazy traffic in Toronto. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, just after. It's very muggy, but at least it's cloudy and the sun's not beating down. So we're saying our goodbyes to the family. As you see, it's been a wonderful, relaxing 4 days, but we have got a huge second half to go through, and I haven't got around to doing that video where I wanted to go over the first half, which I will do. So they're all hugging and kissing and saying goodbye.
Bye. Safe trip.
Already the traffic. Already.
Bye, baby, bye bye. I may be seeing you around when I change my living standards.
Well, welcome back everybody. Have you missed us? I want to show you my leg from the heat from the engine over the past 6 weeks. It's not a burn because I've had my riding pants on and it's too high up to touch anything. It's just purely the heat. The heat from the engine. I don't know if it's going to be a permanent thing or it will go down. It's pretty ugly. Here it is.
And wind up staying, put up, put down, strung out, strong. Well, honey, I ain't got time to wait on you. I'll catch your stupid bug. I've got lots of things I've got to do.
So we're about 20 minutes from Port Dover. Port Dover is about 2 hours south of Toronto. Like farmland getting here. A lot of cannabis farms. And cannabis is legal in lots of areas now in Canada and North America. And so you can smell it, it's freely available. They have cannabis shops, cannabis farms, just little shops in the malls where you can get cannabis and all the gummies and oils. I actually think it's only a matter of time before Australia does the same, and I think they should, because a lot of people might argue that it leads to harder drugs. I don't believe that. I think what leads to harder drugs is the fact that you've got to buy, if it's illegal, you've got to get with those dodgy underground characters to buy it, and therefore you're being exposed to a black market that has other harder stuff. If it's legal, then there's no need to get in touch with those people. So I think it should be legal myself. It's an amazing plant, the marijuana, the hemp plant. It can build houses, makes clothes, it has medicinal properties. It can help with fits, it helps with patients having chemotherapy, stops the nausea, helps with an appetite. Like, it's an amazing plant that does a lot of good. And you can buy stuff here, the oils without the THC or TCH, I forget what it is. Anyway, I'm just letting you know that that's my stand on marijuana. I think it should be legal for personal use, and it will stop that black market underground trade where not only is that sold, but you're exposed to a lot of those harder drugs that are disgusting, like methamphetamine and ice and cocaine, all that stuff. You can smell it along the highway. If I was looking for something to invest in Australia, I'd be investing in marijuana farms. Follow me for more tips. Just going through a little town called Jarvis, and we're 14 k's from Port Dover.
Long, my honey, so long.
So we're here at the beach. Those palm trees are the only palm trees in all of Canada. So we've been told. Village Cannabis. See, this is the streets of Port Dover, and one of the shop fronts is Cannabis. So we've been advised to go, there's a pub down here or a hotel. They're known for the Port Dover experience is known as far as food goes, get a pike plate, so pike being a fish. Yeah, all this motorbike sort of looking stuff here. Friday the 13th. That's when they have the big festivals. It's a good idea. I might start that in Australia. Don't you think that would be a good idea? Having lunch at the Erie Beach Hotel. So we're here overlooking sort of the bay and the boats, and we're having lunch at this beautiful place. And we're sharing a soup to begin with, cauliflower and cheese. Glass of wine, and we've gone all out and they're known for their seafood platters.
Yep.
So we're sharing a seafood platter. Well, it's a seafood platter for two. So this is their version of a seafood platter. Not my version. It's like all fried. So in Australia we'd get fresh fish, fresh prawns. Just to let you know, this was 65 Canadian dollars, which is about the same as Australia. And I don't think that represents good value. I just thought it was going to be fresh, given that they're renowned for it. Anyway, that might be nice. It's Lake Erie, and this is the beach. This is Port Dover. Now we're going to head to Buffalo. We're going to cross back into the USA. That lunch was a little bit disappointing, I must say. If you're coming to Port Dover, don't worry about sitting down. Just grab some fish and chips on the lake shore, because it's going to be fried just like that restaurant. It's just all fried food. We feel a bit blah now. So that meal cost me $115 for that seafood platter. We shared a soup and a glass of wine each. And Steve's rolled up. It was Steve that suggested on the way to Buffalo, that we call into Port Dover, and told me about this Friday the 13th event that we've never heard of before.
It's a big deal.
Yes.
There's 2,000 bikes here on Friday the 13th.
And you know, and Friday the 13th is sometimes once a year, sometimes 3 times a year.
Yeah, this year it's October, so depending on the weather.
Oh, okay, you're getting a bit cold then, right?
Cold then, yeah. So
And is it just once this year, or is there?
once this year.
So there's only one Friday the 13th this year. That's interesting.
Now there's like 2,000 bikes.
Yeah.
It goes the main street, it's just from one end to the other, and the side streets are just...
Okay, we are heading off to Buffalo now, and we're going the Niagara Falls way, which will cross us into the US across Lake Erie.
You're just so awesome. Welcome to Canada.
Thank you. Welcome to Canada. Goodbye, Canada.
Try just a little bit harder so I can love, love, love him. I tell myself, well, I'm gonna try, yeah, just a little bit harder so I won't lose him to nobody else. Yeah. Well, I don't care how long it's gonna take, but if it's a dream, I don't want it. Don't really want it. If it's a dream, I don't want to make you wait.
There's a lot of people leaving Canada. There's a huge lineup all the way over the bridge. Oh my God, this is going to probably be about a 20-minute lineup wait minimum, I reckon. All those trucks had to go through quarantine.
Yeah, little bit hard, baby.
now in America. We just got to the halfway point of the bridge. Well, we're not quite in America because we need to go through customs, but this is the dividing line right here. I had the two flags up, Canadian flag that side and the American flag this side. It's not easy just doing this slow riding for so long with the brakes and the balancing the bike. Half an hour later, we're nearly there. We're like 6 cars from the customs. Seems to be taking a long time. Oh, engine's so hot, you know. Oh. He's put his glasses on, helmet's back on. I do believe my turn next. Buffalo for a day, and then we're eventually heading back to LA after we crisscross the country a bit.
When do you guys fly home?
25th of September, so if that's a Monday, it's the 25th of September.
Any alcohol, any tobacco, any food? All right, have fun.
Oh, thank you.
Where do you live?
Thank you.
Quite cool.
Yep, just let me put on my gloves. Just wait there for a minute. Well, we're just about to arrive at Jim's place where we're staying for 2 nights. This is one of Damien's workmates from years ago. Amazing. He's got his big bar over there. Reckon we're in for a big night. Lots of bees here. Damien, be careful. Look at that. He's got a little sort of dam over there. He's got like a bar thing over there. And here he comes. He's right on mower. This is Jim, everybody. Oh, I could dig here. I'm going to just sit here and do paintings, I think, for 2 days. Right.
My hair, I put on a lot of weight and look dry. Thank you.
He said he's lost all his hair. He's put on a lot of weight.
Okay.
Hang on.
Bye. Great to see you. Good to see you, man. Thank you for making the trip halfway around the world to see us. Christine, I'm Jim. How are you?
Lovely to meet you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for your hospitality and everything.
Oh, that's good. What a trip. What a story you guys got, huh?
Bye. Beautiful. And look at this beautiful, comfy bed. It's lovely. Thank you so much. Well, good morning. It's we had a beautiful rest here at Jim's place, and I'm just getting up. Damien's gone to work today at a place called Tonawanda, which is just near Buffalo. Buffalo is in the state of New York, and that's where buffalo wings had originated from. So they're famous for many things, actually. He's a farm boy, this one. Look at him, look at him, look at that face.
Hey guys, how are you? Greetings from East Aurora.
You were telling me some fascinating things about Buffalo, like it was one of the 4th biggest cities in the world back in the in the early 1800s or something.
Yeah, it was one of the 10th richest cities.
10th richest city, yeah.
In the 1800s.
Yeah.
It's home of the Erie Canal, which is a 236-mile long channel or canal that connected Buffalo, Lake Erie, to New York City.
The guy who the Woolworths family just live over there.
Yeah, Knox family. Yeah,
the Knox
K-N-O-X.
family.
Yeah.
And this anchor bar, this guy, there's a bit of a motorbike destination as well for a lot of bikers.
Yeah,
He's a Harley
absolutely.
collector. These has become a bit of a franchise. the Anchor Bar
they
now.
franchised the bars. Yeah, they
Yeah.
franchised the bars. So there's about 8 or 10 of them around the
Right.
country now.
Okay, there you
Yep,
go.
doing well. But you're going to the original one. That's what's important.
That's what's
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah,
East
this is
Aurora.
So
East
bedroom
Aurora.
community. It's kind of a bedroom community.
Yeah.
To
Bedroom community.
a bedroom community. 'Cause,
We haven't in Australia. Bedroom community would mean something saucy. What is a bedroom community?
well, so all the industry was in downtown Buffalo, and this was the first train stop outside of Buffalo. So you could jump on a train before or a horse to go to downtown Buffalo where all the industry was.
Yep.
Then people came back here to their homes, wanted to be on acreage and farms.
Oh, okay. So they came back
slept
to their
here,
beds.
Come back to the bedroom and worked in the city.
That's
All that's kind of switched around now. Buffalo they've turned a lot of the old factories into condos
Yes,
and
yeah.
livable communities.
That's a very cool. Yeah, we do that in
Yep.
Australia. All the old industrial areas are becoming residential condominiums. Because in we've also found out that in America and Canada, condominiums are apartments. But here, if you say apartments, it means you're really renting the space.
Yeah.
But condominiums means that you own it.
Right.
Yeah. Jim has a bar down the property
Yeah. What
called
are
the Bar.
The Bar Inn.
The Bar Inn, as in bar inn and barn. It's got
yeah.
a bit of a double meaning. Jim spent some time in Australia.
2 years.
2 years
in
lived and
Melbourne,
worked
yeah.
in Melbourne. So
Yeah.
and the Indonesian connection is because Ayu, your wife,
My wife, yep.
is from Indonesia.
There's a lot of things that we've collected in our travels.
I bet. It's fabulous.
Particularly this saw right here. That's
All right.
one of a kind. That's a hybrid. That's gasoline on the left and hand on the right.
Wow.
And,
This is what you suggested Damien and myself stay in.
yeah, this is the kind of the romantic, if you're not
Right,
afraid of
okay. I think we've chosen the correct bed though tonight
yeah, it's
in the
very
house.
Yeah.
Oh. So we're here at Knox Farm.
Yeah.
And the story, Jim, about Knox Farm, this has now been open to the public.
Yeah, about 20 years ago.
20 years ago it opened to the public.
It was in the family, and the way things go, there's only 1 or 2 surviving members of the
Yep.
Knox family, and they couldn't keep it up.
Right.
So they donated the entire property to the state.
Wow.
Now it's a state park.
State Park.
Yes.
And this is
600 plus acres.
And this is from the family who have Woolworths.
Yeah.
But is Woolworths a thing in America?
It was.
It
yeah,
was,
it
but
was.
it's certainly a thing in Australia. It was the
This
house,
is their mansion. Yeah, this is their summer home.
which is now an event
event
centre
centre,
for sort of smallish weddings and
Yeah,
pitch
so
the
families can
marquees
come in.
out
It's
here.
what we call destination weddings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on, you know, oh, I got it try out, yeah. Woo. Hey.
So we're at the compound of what was his name? Hubbard. Albert Hubbard, who was quite the influencer back in the day. This is a well that's actually not a real
Not
well,
really a well,
but
real
he
well.
used to get his people to fill it up in the early hours of the morning, so it looked like a working well. He is the author of a book called A Message to Garcia,
Yes.
and that was like rated after the Bible, after the Quran. Number 3 was this book that was
Most published works.
most published works. So I'll let everyone Google this because the story is quite remarkable, and this guy created this like a community here where it's all artisan, and he insisted that people build their own stuff, and the town of Aurora, right?
East Aurora. Yeah.
East Aurora was sort of founded by this guy in a way, wasn't it? Or
on
he
the
sort of
map.
put it on the map. Okay, this is the book. I can fit that in my bag. Home of the original buffalo wing, the Anchor Bar. We're going to have buffalo wings. What do you recommend is the best one? What flavour? Is it? Oh,
I
right
like
here.
barbecue. I don't know.
The barbecue. Look, they knew we were coming. They're ringing the bells.
Honey barbecue.
Motorbikes. What's the motorbike? There he is. Hello.
Yeah, well,
Truth be told, Lester
what is
and I never
back in your mind?
Traditional buffalo wing. It's delicious. We've met some fellow Indian riders from Indian Hollister in California who we might go and visit. And now we're going, I don't know where, but I've had 2 glasses of wine, which is why I'm not riding. I'm a little bit pissed. I just want to have a nana nap.
Can head back.
We can head back, but we go by East Aurora. It's quite a fascinating place, I've got to say. Oh my God, I've got the hiccups. that's a real indication of a true drunk, isn't it? When they start hiccuping. Right, let's go. So Jim, our host and good mate of Damien's, he has 30 odd years, has suggested all these tourist spots we should go and look at. But we all know Damien doesn't do tourist stuff. So I go, we're going to see Shark Girl. I'll put a picture of Shark Girl up because we're not going there. And the canal, I'll put a picture of the canal up because we're not going there.
I gotta try a little bit harder, baby. You know it, I know it.
So we're in this very cool coffee place in East Aurora, which is a suburb of Buffalo, which is where we're staying. And Buffalo is a fascinating city. There's so much history. And East Aurora is just as fascinating as a little village. And anyway, I'm having an iced chocolate. I hope it's like just not chocolate milk. And you're having a latte.
Traditional latte.
He didn't ask for an extra shot, so I don't know if this is going to be good. He won't let him. Okay, let's do it, Damien. The chocolate milk was, the chocolate, iced chocolate was just fucking chocolate milk. I knew it'd be shit. Okay, I'm not expecting too much. Do it. Just get it over with. Oh God, he's thinking about it a bit too much.
It's not the worst.
It's not the worst, but it's not the best.
No, I'll give that a 3.5.
Oh shit. There's a lot of 3.5, Damien. That's why I like the 1 to 10 marking, because it gave you a little bit more room to be a bit more picky. 5 stars doesn't give you much room. 3.5, but as I've said before, 3.5 is still a fail in my eyes.
Really?
Yeah, because you've had some 5s and big ones, so 3.5's not good. Anyway, I'm very disappointed. If you want to know, if you're at all interested in my iced chocolate, it is shit. I give it a 1. Good job I'm not paying. So this area, East Aurora, and Jim being a tour guide back in the day, had a lot of information to share. Mm-hmm. But to bring it down into a nutshell, the guy Hubbard, not the Scientology crazy fucker.
Albert Green Hubbard.
Him, Albert Green Hubbard, he created this community because he wanted to create what's known now as a commune. So he sort of pioneered this area, and everyone that came here had to supply something to the community. They had to build their own homes, supply produce, and contribute. So he really was the one that came up with this artisan concept of all this creative and productive community supplying to each other. And he created the grid system that's now all through New York State, this being in New York State. So this guy was obviously slightly eccentric, but he had all these sort of out there ideas that are very progressive. Even today they're progressive. So he was the one that wrote this book, A Message to Garcia, which is the 3rd most published book back in the day after the Bible and the Quran. He wrote this book, and it's like only a few pages, so we can fit it in our luggage. And the other interesting thing about him, he believed that everything could be negotiated and settled. So he fell in love with another woman. He was married, and he thought about it. He goes, I want to be with this woman, but this woman I have obligations to. So he sat them down together and said, look, this is the situation. I love this woman now. I don't love you, but I respect you, and I want this to work somehow for all of us. And those 2 women became great friends.
A lot of men would like that.
A lot of men would like that, and apparently the women liked it, and it was all happy days after that. So he did that. So when World War I broke out, this guy thought with that ability to negotiate around a round table and everyone come to an agreement, he could fix World War I. So he got on this boat, and as a tourist he sailed to, Germany or Russia with the intention of sitting down with the Russian and the German leaders to settle World War I. But I don't know that he didn't know, and the tourists on the top deck didn't know, that the Americans planted all these weapons stored all these weapons for war. to go to the
cargo.
in the cargo to go to the troops in fighting the war.
Yeah.
Whether he knew about it and the people on the civilians on the top deck knew about it, I don't know. But the Germans found out about it, got a sniff of it, and subsequently bombed that cruise liner, and that's where he and his wife died on that mission.
Which wife?
The second wife, the one that he loved.
Oh, so the first wife got out of it scot-free.
See? All good things come to those who wait. This character was way before his time, and this book is all his letters and writings.
Let me read you this. I like men who have a future and women who have a past.
Yeah, that's cool. And I like this book because it was brown and tattery and sort of very vintage
What
looking.
about this
but
one?
This is, go on, what is
One
it?
ounce of loyalty is worth a pound in cleverness.
Yeah. So that is the book of A Message to Garcia. It's tiny and little, and it's only a few pages. But when I saw this one, I liked the vintage look of it. Like it's just like it's really old. What does that back thing say about women? The basis of marriage.
Let women make herself economically free, find work that exercises her body and mind, and most of the course of distorted, unsaid, and happiness will be disappeared.
Yeah. So what he's saying back in the turn of the century and before is that women should be independent and free themselves of this reliance on men. How progressive is that?
There you go.
I like this guy. I like this town. Wise men talk because they have something to say. Fools talk because they have to say something. It's all those, I think that's great. The other thing we found out today is Buffalo, New York, which is the main city here. This is a suburb of that. It's not, I'm thinking Buffalo, you know, like the buffalo, where are the buffalo? But apparently because of the high French influence, it was Buffalo, and the Americans couldn't get their head around the accent. So Buffalo meaning, what was it meaning? Water.
Beautiful river.
Beautiful river, Buffalo, but the Americans changed it, a bit like what Australians do, they bastardise the language, and it was pronounced buffalo. So consequently that's how the buffalo got its name, not because there's buffalo roaming the streets, sadly. I thought I might have had another chance of finding buffalo.
I gotta, you gotta, baby. Try, yeah. Just a little bit harder, baby. Just a little bit harder. Try.